Terry Smith's investment framework is famous for being simple. Buy good companies, don't overpay, do nothing. But simple does not mean easy. So in this episode, we'll apply that quality compounder lens to the ASX. The question is simple. Which Australian companies actually come closest to passing the Terry Smith test?
Before we do though, quick disclaimer. Nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a licensed advisor. This is purely educational. Do your own research. Talk to a professional if you need to. All right, let's go.
Terry Smith founded Fundsmith in 2010. The fund has close to £13 billion in assets under management and has outperformed most global equity peers over its lifetime. His investment philosophy is documented in the Fundsmith Owner's Manual, a short, direct document that lays out exactly what he looks for in a business. The quote that captures the whole framework is this: buy good companies, don't overpay, do nothing. That sounds simple, but each part is doing real work. So what does good company mean in this framework? For this ASX screen, I'm using 4 practical tests. First, high ROCE. That means return on capital employed. In plain English, it asks how much profit does the business generate from the capital it needs to operate. For this screen, I'm using 20% as the benchmark. Second, strong cash conversion. In other words, the accounting profit should mostly turn into real free cash flow. Third, resilient revenue. The business should not depend too much on commodities, property cycles, or the broader economy. And fourth, it should not need a lot of debt to make its returns look good. That is the lens. High returns, real cash, resilient revenue, and low reliance on leverage. I started with roughly 300 ASX-listed companies. To keep the screen practical, I only included companies with a market cap above $300 million and at least 3 years of audited results. The first pass removes sectors that usually do not fit this framework: banks, miners, energy producers, commodity businesses, and REITs. That brings the list down to around 180 companies. The second pass applies the quality tests: ROCE, cash conversion, resilient revenue, and balance sheet strength. Most companies fail at this stage, usually because their returns on capital are not consistently high enough. After the full screen, 3 companies survive: Pro Medicus, Technology One, and REA Group. In this video, I'll focus on the 2 closest fits, and then use Xero as a useful contrast. The closest fit is Pro Medicus. On this screen, Pro Medicus scores 22 out of 22. Its return on capital is not just above 20%. It has been far above that level, partly because the business needs very little physical capital to grow. The free cash flow conversion is also very strong. That means a large share of its profit turns into real cash. The business is asset light. Capital expenditure is tiny compared with revenue, and it has no debt. The revenue quality is also attractive. Pro Medicus sells radiology software through long-term contracts, mainly with large hospital systems in the United States. That gives it recurring, sticky revenue, which is exactly the kind of thing quality investors like to see. But there is one big gap. Terry Smith's second rule is don't overpay. Pro Medicus has often traded at very high earnings multiples, so this screen tells us the business quality is exceptional. It does not tell us whether the share price is attractive today.
The second close fit is Technology One. It also passes the screen. The return on capital is comfortably above the threshold. Free cash flow conversion is strong, and the balance sheet is conservative. A large share of revenue is annual recurring revenue, mostly from government and education customers across Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. It also has a long growth runway, especially if the UK expansion continues to work. The reason it ranks below Pro Medicus is scale of quality. Technology One is a very strong business, but its return on capital is not in the same league as Pro Medicus. Now, let's look at the company that many people may expect to pass, but does not. Xero. At first glance, Xero looks like a perfect fit. It has recurring SaaS revenue, very high gross margins, and a strong brand in cloud accounting. But it fails the first test, return on capital. Xero has improved a lot as a business, but historically its return on capital has not been consistently above the level this framework demands. That is the key lesson. High gross margins are not the same thing as high capital efficiency.
This screen is useful, but it has blind spots. First, it cannot really judge management quality. The numbers tell us what the business has earned in the past. They do not prove that management will keep making good decisions in the future. Second, it does not solve valuation. A great business can still be a poor investment if the price is too high. That is why don't overpay has to be a separate step. Third, the screen cannot see future disruption. A business can look resilient today, but still face risk from technology, regulation, competition, or changes in customer behavior. So this is a quality screen. It is not a complete investment decision.
The main takeaway is this. A company is not a quality compounder just because it has high margins, recurring revenue, or a strong brand. Those things matter, but they are not enough. The real test is capital efficiency. Can the business earn high returns on the capital it actually needs to operate? That is why Pro Medicus and Technology One screen so well. And it is also why a company like Xero, despite being a high-quality SaaS business in many ways, does not cleanly fit this particular Terry Smith lens. For beginners, this is the useful lesson. Before asking how fast a company can grow, first ask how much capital it needs to generate that growth.